This program has been made possible in part by Feza Yarns, America's source for novelty yarns. FezaYarns.com.
On today's how-to segment, KT Baldessaro is joining me to show off a clever yarn and a clever knit with some fun beading techniques. Welcome, KT.
Hi, it's great to be here.
This is such a cute tank.
Thank you so much. It's actually one of the first tank tops I've gotten to design.
It's what I love about it is that the shaping is really, nicely incorporated into it, and then it has these great little details, the front placket, and then this beading trim is really cute.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to go with something, because there's so much color in the yarn that we're using, something that you could wear every day that would still be fun but a little bit special. So I wanted to incorporate what I like about tank tops, and I love these buttons up the front. So if you have a lot of chest, you can hide it, or if you don't, you can unbutton a few and show a little bit more skin. So it's a lot more versatile than just knitting straight up the front.
It's flattering for everyone. And the yarn has a really great handle to it. What's the fiber blend?
It's 100% bamboo. I was saying before, this is the first yarn I've ever found that I have to squish it, especially in the knit one, purl one ribbing. You just really want to feel it. And what's great about doing something out of bamboo for the spring or the summer is it's completely breathable. It feels a lot like silk, but it handles a lot better when you're knitting it. It's also antibacterial, which is, I guess good to know if you're going to be sweating into it. It's easy to wash. Of course, like any other yarn or any silk yarn, you're going to want to hand wash it. It's not going to felt, but don't throw it in the washing machine.
Treat it with care.
Absolutely, especially because the beading will knock around and that could fall out.
And speaking of the beading, I love how sort of simple and straightforward it is, but it kind of contributes to the overall organic look of the sweater.
Yes, thank you. I really wanted to make, again, very simple, something that people could approach, that's going to look a lot more interesting and be easy to do.
So let's take a look at your chart.
Yep, so what I've got here, and I'm not actually going to go into what every individual symbol means because it's going to be with the pattern that will be on the website. I've drawn out basically what my lace pattern is going to be, and I think this is really helpful because not only do you get to address it and put in your highlighted spots for wherever you're going to put the bead, you get to get acquainted with your lace pattern before you actually wind up knitting anything. So you know exactly what to be expected and where you're going to be placing the beads. It's a little less worrisome, a little less unknown. So with this particular pattern, we're placing the beads on the first and last knit stitch of the repetition on row 5. And then on row 7, we're putting it right in the middle. So you just take your highlighter, just to remind yourself when you're working with your chart, when I get to this highlighted stitch, that's going to have a bead around its neck. Same down here. And then when you get to the next row, 2 rows later, you're going to be doing that. And then
great tip.
Row 9 is just a repetition of row 5, but I drew it in anyway because more is always better for yourself.
More reminders.
Yeah, if you're a visual learner, this is going to be really helpful.
So show us the actual technique that you use to place the beads.
Sure, definitely. Now what I've got here is what we've worked up all the way up into row 7. So rows 1 through 6 are already done. So you just start your knitting like you would if you're just following the pattern. And you just follow your pattern until you get to the position where you're going to be placing the first bead. Stop.
Now we're at our highlighted place.
Yep,
more or less.
We're right there on this chart. So you're just going to stop, bringing that to the end. And I knit continental, so I tend to keep the yarn over here. I take my beaded eye needle. And this is something that you can find in any craft store, or any store that sells beads. It's just a needle that has a split right down the middle. A lot of people will use crochet hooks when they're doing this, but I have such difficulty maintaining those little tiny, tiny, tiny crochet hooks. As I was saying before, my cat tends to find them and chew the ends off. So you just open it up wide like that, place it right over the needle.
Oh, wow.
And put the end so that it's right next to the stitch that we're going to be putting the bead on. Hold it with my thumb, then I grab the bead that I want. Now I've got these 2 little dishes to try and help myself out. I've separated the colors in each of these dishes, But don't worry about it. I think that with beading, it's really more important to just work on where you're placing your beads, and whatever colors happen, happen. So you're gonna thread it onto the hook bit of here. Sorry. There we go. Bring it right down to the neck and hold it with these two fingers, the middle finger and your thumb of the left hand, and pull this next stitch off. We're actually gonna take it off the needle, which can be a little bit scary, but what I like about this needle is that when you pull it all the way down to the end, it locks the stitch in place and it can't fall off.
Hold it for you.
Pull your bead down and through.
What a cool tool.
Then we've even still got it locked, so just find the center of the stitch. This one's got a couple of threads together, so it might split. Push it back and pull it off.
What a great way to, that's so easy. And then you would just go on and knit it.
Yep, this stitch is a yarn over knit stitch, so we yarn over, we knit this stitch, and we just move on down the row.
And what happens if anything goes wrong, like if you lose a bead?
If you lose a bead while you're knitting, you can always just retract back. But if you lose a bead and you've already finished the garment, what I like to do is taking a tapestry needle and a bit of the same color thread, usually try and, with this one because it's colored, try and get it to a position where the color is going to be similar, and sew in a fake stitch. So just for the act of showing it, you would put it in, just like whenever you make one of those false V stitches.
Like a duplicate stitch.
Pull it part way through, take your end bit, and when you don't have it on the needle like it's a live stitch, you can just use this again, just like anything else.
And you would just thread a bead on in the same way.
Just like that. Take your next bead or whatever bead was missing and go on.
Well, what a couple of great, clever tricks. Thanks so much, Katie.
You're welcome. Thank you.